He's got sort of orange elastic bandages on his arms, Bumrah, as he turns at the Bennett end and walks. And then gets into that little burst before delivering outside off stump. Driven calmly away beautifully by Shubman Gill out to the cover boundary. That was quite a long way from his body, but out to the extra cover boundary. Wide long off it goes. Picked up by one of the ground staff out there, sitting watching on his red tractor attached to the covers at the moment. No.
That Test 11 last year, both superb first-class records. Gill both for Punjab in the Ranji Trophy and for India A, as Davis is in. This is tucked off the hip, and that'll be his second boundary. No one at square leg, and that races away to the fence where it's picked up by a member of the India support staff. The work of but a moment. Just a little bit leg side. It wasn't a terrible delivery, but it just gave Shubman Gill the opportunity to turn his wrists on it backward a square.
Please the school children. Parties from various Leicester schools have come in to watch their hit.
Umesh Yadav.
But it is subject to change. In goes Bumrah and bowls. Full on off stump. Calmly driven away out to extra cover for 4. No chance for Pujara, though he did dive away to his right. It was more of a gesture really than a meaningful dive. And again, calmly and rather beautifully played out to straight extra cover by Rowett for 4. Very, very fast outfield here. If they beat the infield, the batter can be almost certainly assured of picking up a boundary. It has been very dry match wherein the members of the visiting team are playing for the home team. No, it has happened.
It has happened quite recently, as this is flicked gloriously by Shubman Gill through mid-wicket. It was a full half volley from Davis on middle and leg stump, but it was clipped gorgeously away. And by the time the fielder at mid-on started to give chase, he realised he was going to have to pick it up from the boundary. His third for Shubman Gill, 15 off 13 balls. No, Avesh Khan and Washington Sundar played for India last year in a warm-up game at Durham for a county select 11, and both promptly broke fingers and missed.
15 off 17 for Gill, 25 without loss. In goes Bumrah and bowls. Thick outside edge, and he's going to pick up 4. I think it's going to go down the slope all the way. It went low. He played it with soft hands, so it wasn't remotely a chance to third slip. Little toot of the vuvuzela, which often greets a boundary here at the Upton Steel County Ground from the popular stand over there alongside the meet.
A lot of South Africans in the area.
It did actually come from, I believe, the World Cup in South Africa, which was awful long, 20 at third. Bumrah is in and bowls and driven most pleasantly by Gill. Back past him, he stuck out a left foot, but it was no more than a gesture. Again, didn't try and overhit it, no great follow through, but just leant into it, got his weight into that one, weight on the front foot, bunted it back past the bowler out to the long off boundary for 4. Lovely shot.
You know it's a good shot when Rohit Sharma gives you a pat on the back. That wasn't a half volley, that was driven on the up down the ground. He's hit 4 boundaries this morning. That as Will Davis comes in, those 3 slips await from Shubman Gill, and they might be in business here. The keeper is in fact Rishabh Pant. It's a good delivery from Davis. Gill just not quite sure whether to cut or leave or defend. Sort of did neither. It comes off the top edge through to Rishabh Pant. Simple catch. Will Davis has dismissed Shubman Gill, who looked very good this morning for 21 of 28 deliveries. India 35 for 1. Good ball.
Yep, a little bit of extra bounce. And the despondent Gill has to go. He waited for the decision, but Pant slightly apologetically caught it, really. Probably.
If I must.
Oh, well, OK. 35 for 1 for Leicester. You never quite know what you get from him. He can look sort of fairly tired a lot of the time.
That was not a tie delivery, but it's met very authoritatively off the back foot by Rohit Sharma. He didn't quite time the one that went through point. That one goes through cover for 4. Rohit Sharma's most authoritative shot for the last 15 minutes or so. Lovely back foot punch.
The kids love that. They explode into life. They wave their 4 little posters
Yeah, I saw the ground staff and the teachers and the stewards handing those out to them just before the play started. Yeah, loving life. A lot of
it's your duty.
journalism. Short and pulled off the top edge. Is that going to land in the hands of mid-wicket? It is. Abidin Sakande had to go back towards the mid-wicket boundary, but made up the ground comfortably, got into position, and Rohit mistimed to pull off from the other end of Prasidh Krishna. Mistimes this one off.
Rohit Sharma leaving the pitch very slowly. As you say, it was there was never any sort of momentum to his innings, never looked really comfortable out there. And he'll obviously get a second chance in this game, you would imagine, at some stage, but looks in need of it as well. Just needs time in the middle, I think. Virat Kohli,
as is such are his commitments with India in all formats.
Krishna is in, bowls to him, thick inside edge as that one drifts towards middle leg. He defends it, and Walker lets it go through his legs somehow, or over his hands. It bounces, and Krishna will not be over impressed with that. That said, it means he can continue bowling at Kohli, who picks up a boundary. A big cheer from the India supporters down there from that misfield by Walker.
A big giggle from Gavin Griffiths, who's just given him one of the subfielders, just given him a walk. Just settling into the right length on this wicket. That is full, that is driven, and that is out. Hanuma Vihari not getting a full stride into that drive, pushed at it with his hands. Roman Walker went full, and it's caught at first slip by Bates. Hanuma Vihari has gone for a scratchy-looking 3 off 23.
With the shot anyway. And in the end, a reasonably comfortable catch into the midriff of Bates. And as you say, it was a little bit, he never really got going at all. He had 23 balls for his 3 and struggled throughout, really.
It was...
And bowls to Iyer, who drives and misses. And is it taken? It is out. He's gone. He has got the edge. And Krishna has a deserved wicket. It was a very faint edge, might even... given that Pant looked to take it low to his left, might even have been an inside edge, may just have come back a little bit. We'll have a careful look at the replay. It was a slightly airy drive from Iyer, especially relatively early.
Moved through the air, he's into Ravindra Jadeja now, who pushes at this, and it squirts off the outer part of the bat well wide of third slip, and that's the first boundary for Ravindra Jadeja, the first boundary for some time, but not in full control.
Davis at third slip, just half dived away to his left, thought he might have been in the game, couldn't quite get there, bounced, you say, sort of good bit before him and a little bit wide, but even so, genuine edge from Jadeja, managed just to keep it down, and in he goes and bowls to Kohli, who's driving pleasantly, thick outside part of the bat, along the ground all the way behind point, down to wide third man for 4, but I would suggest, looking at the replay, it was kind of placed there by Kohli, just inside out. He knew what he was doing there, and he moves on to 8.
Just that little turn of the bottom hand. He might have been trying to get that the other a little bit sort of squarer, but it was pretty much in control. Slightly too full. Similar kind of work might be profitable with Sakande as Walker's in, and that's beautifully driven down the ground by Ravindra Jadeja. The most authoritative shot for a good hour of this tour game, punched firmly down the ground offside of the stumps at the non-striker's end for 4.
Yeah, giving it a chance to swing, but overdoing it a bit there, Roman Walker. Swung all right, straight back down past him into the advertising hoardings.
Lovely woody thump off the bat from Ravindra Jadeja. Still the 3 slips, a backward point set quite deep for Prasidh Krishna. Jadeja does flay the ball hard through the covers as Walker's in, strikes Jadeja on the pad, and it's given. And it's kept low from back of a length. It's come in. I think that little bit of movement in, difficult decision for the umpire. 13 off 12. So Roman Walker is having a day out here on day 1 at Grace Road. He's got Rohit's many balls. 81 for 5, India.
Yep, swung back in, and as you say, didn't get up as much, I suspect, as Jadeja thought it might, and was probably going to hit leg stump, I would suggest.
should have been forward to it, but the little bit of seam movement has given the India top order troubles. KS Bharat comes in at number 5, the backup with last ball of the first session tour game, and that beautifully driven by Kara, a little bit overpitched by Will, and it's driven with a breakerist through 4. That will take up to Lush.
He's heading off to the nets, but he's just had to come to a standstill. In goes Bumrah, bowls very wide outside off stump. The unfortunate Bates flings himself across to his right, would have thumbs down. It is good quality.
74,000.
74,000, I beg your pardon. Cut hard past third slip in the air by Kohli. He picks up 4. Now, he went at that hard. It would have been a miracle catch at third slip, and no real chance for Will Davis, I don't think. But Kohli really went at that, and with the pace generated off the bat and the pace from the ball, no wonder it gets around on the drums. 104 for 5, Kohli onto 15.
Prasidh Krishna as well, perhaps the pick of the bowlers thus far. That's driven beautifully. That's a little bit too full from Sekunde Kohli into the drive, and the Indian crowd comes to life as Virat Kohli pings away a trademark extra cover drive for 4.
I understand why, though, that Sekunde's pitching it up, because there is movement through the air as well under this cloud.
Yeah, you can sometimes get a little greedy as a bowler when the ball's doing a little bit. It's worth trying, obviously, and Prasidh actually had quite a lot of success. 2 school groups in from different schools. This is a bouncer, the first bouncer we've seen. It's a bit wild and woolly, though, from Sekunde way down the leg side. Bates behind the stumps had no chance, and that's been signalled wides, 5 of them. Talk about getting greedy as a seam bowler. That's full on the toes and clipped nicely by Kohli through square leg. There's a chase for the fielder at mid-wicket. Long strides, and he'll get there quite comfortably. Virat Kohli and KS Bharat will run 3. Nicely clipped by Virat.
Mid-wicket, as in goes Krishna and bowls, and it's pulled. Short delivery, and it's all the time in the world for Kohli to swivel and pull it over square leg for 6 maximum.
That's not a shot that Virat Kohli plays that often, the pull shot, but that was absolutely hammered hard and flat through square leg, almost on the front foot, hooking a bowler of pace and height. Phenomenally authoritative shot. Straight to Pujara at that sort of wide-ish mid-off position.
Krishna is in down the leg side, flicks the pad, I suspect. No, he did get something on it, Bharat, as he looked to turn it down the leg side, and did turn it down the leg side successfully down to fine leg. No chance at all for Abhi Sekunde running across from long leg to get anywhere near it. Thumps into the advertising hoardings at the Bennett end in front of the Turner Indoor Centre. Over there, the green seats, getting a good view on that one. 4 runs to KS Bharat. He moves on to 15.
He's been extremely controlled and quite difficult to get away. That's a big waft from Virat Kohli, aiming a drive down the ground, and eventually it's given. I think that, not entirely sure, I have to say, it was slightly blocked off by the batter from this end. Virat Kohli is not entirely happy. He's having a word with the umpire, but eventually long on, and eventually the finger went up. It must have been pretty close. I wonder if Virat Kohli thought he'd got himself outside the line. I don't think he did, I have to say.
Movement was caused by clipping the pad. In goes Krishna, bowl short and wide outside off stump. A rare bad ball from the young man, and it is chopped away through the offside. He had to reach for it, Thakur, but he's going to pick up 4. He ended the whole outfield, as well as the square, is very dry and rock hard. Now, interestingly, Pujara's having a word with the bowl, whoever it is. In goes Krishna and bowls. Very straight, driven classically straight back past him through his legs by KS Bharat down to the long off boundary for 4. Did overpitch on that occasion. It didn't move too much, didn't have time to move too much, and rather a
but he's not there anymore. Shardul Thakur is, and he's
bowled him.
That's pretty comprehensive. He's tried to leave that on length.
That is a misjudgment on the part of Shardul Thakur. Came back a little bit, but goodness me, that was No, it has a couple of clock on top of it. In goes, oh, down the leg side, that one from Krishna. And it is going to be by sort of to cover it. And again, an indication from Barrett that there was movement there. From Krishna that there was movement there. Well, he knows that, that's for sure.
As Umesh faces up to Walker, does give him the big drive and thumps it back over his head. That has gone one bounce for into those green seats at the Bennett end. 4 runs to Umesh Yadav. Good shot.
Oakham is the only outground that is now occasionally used by Leicestershire. They used to play in various places in the county, and of course Oakham isn't in Leicestershire. It is the county town. As
Umesh faces up, last ball of the over, getting some advice from the crowd, size this towards that short boundary, and has found it with ease. Once it got past the infield, there was no way anyone was getting near that. 2 fours in 3 balls from Umesh Yadav. That's the way that he is best off playing. I think he's 8 off 11. KS
with a slip. Steps to the crease and bowls, tosses it up. His slog swept over mid-wicket for 6.
And that cleared the boundary by a fair distance. That's gone into the... OK, there's only 5 rows of seats, but it's gone in.
The ball. Bowley is in. Barrett's going to reverse sweep him for 4 more. And does. Quickly changed hands. The ball was in the air in the point of delivery. No third man. Comfortable for 10 off the first 2 balls of the unfortunate Nat Bowley's over.
Look, a spinner sometimes has to buy a wicket, and sometimes a decent player of spin likes to hit square of the wicket, sort of slog sweeps and reverse sweeps. He actually adjusted very well because that was quite full, and he managed to get that fine into the gap rather than the hard hit one square. That backward point's gone almost onto the boundary out on the offside.